Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. My name is Rob Thacker. I'm the gonna step back music director of the Church of St. John's. I welcome you today. Please rise, embody your spirit, and join me in singing hymn 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. And you're allowed to dance a little bit. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and here we go, we got somebody. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Thank you.
This is a call to flow as rivers flow, effortless and mighty, to find hope in each other, to never go it alone. This is a call to new beginnings, to new creations, to new chances to do good deeds, to forgive and seek forgiveness, and to be written into the book of life. This is a call to offer solace when it is needed and where, to find joy whenever it offers itself up in the now of every moment. This is a call to find your heart's most precious intention, letting it have its wild way with you. This is a call to come back, come home, come to your senses, come to yourself, come to your whole and holy self. This is a call for body and soul, for each and every, to be healed by flowing waters, by mighty waters, by sacred waters that show us the way. Blessed be.
Our chalice lighting words today are from Katie Savani Gelfand. We light this chalice as a symbol of reunion. We reunite in this sanctuary to share the flow of our hearts with one another. We gather together in ritual to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief, to guide one another through rapids of transformation, to rest together on ponds of stillness. Together, we honor the spirit of water, its many forms, and its life-giving essence. Good morning and welcome to St. John's Unitarian Universalist Church. At St. John's, we surround this community with the spirit of love in everything we do. My name is Claire Wagner. I'm worship associate this morning. Our interim minister is the Reverend Jen Gracen. As a welcoming congregation, we hope all visitors, wherever they are on life's journey. Hey, Monica, could you turn the volume down just a hair? Thank you. And whatever their backgrounds, will find a lasting home here. Please join us for refreshments and conversation in our fellowship hall across the foyer. But on your way, stop by the visitors table and find out more about St. John's. Today's order of service includes announcements of upcoming church activities, and we look forward to welcoming friends, visitors, and members joining in. Please do silence electronic noisemakers. And again, welcome to all here this morning. We are pleased you have chosen to celebrate and worship with us.
Please rise in body or spirit, and we'll sing hymn 210, Wade in the Water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. See that band all dressed in white. God's gonna trouble the water. The leader looks like an Israelite. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. See that band all dressed in red. God's gonna trouble the water. It looks like the band that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
I invite you to join me in reciting our affirmation, which will be up on the screen in just a moment. This is the mission of our faith, to teach the fragile art of hospitality, to revere both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to witness to all that we must hold the whole world in our hands. Today is our annual water communion service. And just as water communion reminds us that we and all of our water is connected, the water we share today is the same water that flowed through the world of the dinosaurs. Our ritual of stones for joys and concerns also reminds us that we are connected to one another, to those outside these walls, and even those who have gone before. This is the part of the service we set aside to honor the joys and concerns that have come into our lives this week by coming forward to place stones in the sands of our community. At the end, we will place a stone for all of those who are joining us online. If you're here in the sanctuary and would like to have a joy or concern be read, please leave them on the table. There are paper and pencils up here if you'd like to write a note while you're at the table. And if you're online, please enter a joy or concern in chat, and we will share them from the pulpit as well. we light the candle to represent everything that has been shared and will be shared in this beloved community. We didn't exactly check the oil, so it may or may not light. Life is a mystery.
It went.
Oh. It was hard to see up here too initially. We do want to today honor that tomorrow is Barbara's 96th birthday.
Everybody ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Barbara. Happy birthday to you.
And I believe that's all we have. I'm going to call forward anybody who would like to come for our Story for All Ages. We're going to do a couple of pieces with it here. I'm going to tell a story, and then we are going to do something a little more active. I'm going to go ahead and start. Rain falls upon the surface of the earth, and pulled by gravity, each drop begins to flow downhill. Drop merges with drop, flowing together into a trickle, a streamlet, a creek, a mighty river flowing onward. Some of the water seeps down into the earth itself as groundwater or deep aquifers, where it will stay for days, years, or even millennia until it's pulled up again by tree roots, wells, springs, and geysers, rejoining the dance, the flowing. The water flows on till it collects in ponds, lakes, seas, and vast oceans, and all the while the sun's rays warm the water, calling it back into vapor, so light that it can rise up, 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 each molecule moving on its own again, rising higher into the atmosphere, buoyant and swirling up to where the air grows cool and the water vapor slows and cools and begins to turn again back to droplets. Droplets find droplets and join together again and again, forming clouds growing heavier and heavier, until at last the weight of them pulls them down again. The rain falls on the surface of the earth again. Everywhere on earth, at every moment, is somewhere in the cycle. Cycles upon cycles, falling, flowing, sinking, transforming, raising again and again and again. Our planet has all the water it will ever have and has ever had. This water cycle has been spiraling around and around for more than 4.5 billion years. This means that the water we gather in our annual ritual comes from all over the world and from all across time. The water we gather today has traveled through root systems of trees long since returned to soil, burst from geysers that ceased spraying a millennia ago, and flowed down rivers that have changed course entirely. This morning, we also remember that the water cycle doesn't always only involve rivers and plants and clouds, but also creatures. The water cycles through us too, coming in and out of our bodies in many different ways. That means that the molecules in the water that we gathered from the Ohio River, from our sinks, from other countries, could have been in the tears of joy and sorrow cried by the first person who ever felt love. or that as water from our church sinks contains within it molecules that were once in the best chicken soup someone ever ate, or in the sweat of people who built our building and our town, or in the blood of the mothers that birthed our grandmothers, 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 or even in the dinosaurs. As we gather the waters of the community this morning, let us remember that they connect us to everything that has ever been and everything that will ever be. That is the power of the water we share. So our activity today, we're gonna make a rainstorm, practice being part of the water cycle. Has anyone ever done this before? A couple of you. Okay, so we're gonna start, you all on this side do it first, and then it can flow this way. And you start by rubbing your hands together, and then keep going. You guys too? Yeah? Oh, good job. And then you start snapping your fingers or tapping if you're not a good snapper. Keep going. And that's a drizzle. The rainstorm is starting. And the rain's getting a little heavier. And it's getting heavier. And heavier. And the storm's really here. Stop stomping. It's getting lighter again. It's lighter. And the storm is fading. It's just a little windy. The end. If you are in the chapel today, please feel free to take advantage of some of the activities that are there, including, I know some people are making ribbons. We're going to invite you to use them later in the service.
We'll sing Go Now in Peace, but don't go anywhere. So. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Monthly, from September through May, we share some of our offering with agencies that do good work in Greater Cincinnati. Marty Harrington and Dot are, I should say your last name, Dot Wermeyer, are part of the outreach team, and they're here to introduce a spokesperson for the recipient this month for Split the Plate.
Hello, I'm Marty Harrington, and I'm a member of the Outreach Committee, and it's my pleasure today to introduce our Split the Plate people. But I first am going to introduce our member, who everyone already knows, Dot Wermeyer, and she will introduce our fabulous Split the Plate recipients.
Hi, so our recipient this month will be OAR, which is Ohio Alley Cat Resource. And I'm going to talk just a few minutes about the fact that I've been volunteering there for about 9 years, 2 days a week. And it's a wonderful place to be because everybody is a community. You know, everybody's got the same idea in mind about taking care of the animals and taking care of the earth through taking care of the animals and taking care of other people, because our cats are not the only ones that receive care. It's the people that adopt them too. So if you're a pet owner, you'll know how it is to have a pet that means a lot to you. And I myself have adopted a number of cats from OR and have received a lot of joy from them. So I'm going to introduce Chris Seelbach, who is our executive director, has been for about 1.5 years now. And many of you know him from other ways that he has served the city here. So this is Chris Seelbach, our executive director of OR.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great to be back at St. John's and in Clifton. As Dot said, and Dot's, one of the things that probably the thing that I find the most magical about Ohio Alley Cat is that we have 600 volunteers every year who spend their morning or their evening cleaning litter or feeding cats or preparing litter pans, and it's just incredible what they add to the community. But you all probably know me from my decade plus on city council and as the first openly LGBT person elected in Cincinnati. And I was thinking, as Marty was saying, that the recipient of this is usually tied to social justice. And, I really ran for city council 13 years ago to take on issues of social justice, to take on issues of justice, not just react to them. And, you probably know that we went from perhaps maybe the most anti-LGBT city in the country to literally leading the way, the first city in the country to ban conversion therapy for minors, the third city in the country to offer transgender inclusive health care for all city employees, things that nowadays people are expected to do, but Cincinnati literally led the country on. But I also focused on issues of justice for animals, and that led their way to repealing our ban on breed-specific legislation through pit bulls, banning the sale of rabbits and cats that weren't through rescues, forming our first ever animal committee for the city, strengthening our tethering laws, etc. And through that work, I was recognized by the National Humane Society, surprisingly, in an award. And when I got the award, which I wasn't expecting, I said something that surprised even me, which was, what I really am most passionate about in life are those who are the most vulnerable. And at that moment of my life, I said, trans kids and animals. And it later came back after I was term limited off city council and left, thankful for my service, but ready to leave. And I took a year off. I meant to take a sabbatical, and I just kind of soul searched of where I wanted to spend my time next. And I met with tons of people who knew me and asked a simple question, which is, where would I be most happy and most helpful? What's my intersection of happiness and helpfulness? And every single person I met with somehow had the same answer. And some of them where you'd be happy on a farm raising llamas, or, or just, you already have 3 cats, maybe if you had 20. But all of them led back to, we think you'd be most happy spending your time with animals. And, that really didn't make sense for my career or my life. But about 9 months into my sabbatical, I said, I need to start listening to the people who know me the best. And around the time I started to listen to the universe, this position with Ohio Alley Cat came available, and it was like a calling, much like the calling I had for city council over a decade ago. And if you don't know anything about Ohio Alley Cat, we were started 26 years ago in the basement of an antique store in O'Brienville. And we've grown from an all-volunteer organization to having close to 30 employees now and 600 volunteers. We do about 10,000 spay and neuter surgeries on cats every year. And then we intake from 22 counties and 6 states cats. And then we adopt about 1,500 cats every year as well. So, we're part of the animal welfare community that is not only making a difference in the lives of cats, but also on our mission says cats and the communities that love them. And as Dot mentioned, we're really a community of people who all happen to love cats and want to make sure that we can do something special and meaningful and impactful in their life. But in the end, it's just as much about people as it is about the cats we serve. And it just so happens that politics is about cats nowadays. Surprisingly enough, it's come full circle, despite the fact that, Haitian immigrants are not eating cats a little bit north of us. And we have a lot of childless cat ladies that are a part of our organization. But we're not political. We're truly just trying to make an impact on the lives of cats and communities in greater Cincinnati. And so I'm proud to be here today, continuing that work on taking on issues of social justice and fighting for, those who, if they are given the resources, can have a shot at a successful life, even if they're a feline. So it's great to be back here at St. John's, and thank you all for, St. John's is one of the few organizations in our city who's never had to evolve, or as far as I know, on the issues that I care about. So many of our organizations and politicians have had to evolve on issues of social justice, and many are on the right side of it now, but as far as I can remember, St. John has always led the way and been a strong supporter of those who have been vulnerable, even before it was popular or easy. And so I just want to acknowledge you all for being part of the community that has always been on the right side. And that takes a lot of courage and guts, and it's appreciated in our community and our city. So that's all I have to share. Ohio Alley Cat Resource and Spay Neuter Clinic, we very much appreciate your support. And go Bengals. Thank you.
So I think y'all know the routine. Any money that you put in the plate today, unless otherwise designated, will go 50% to Ohio Alley Cat Resources. You can designate on the memo on your check or on the face of your envelope that you want all of the money to go to Ohio Alley Cat if you so desire. Thank you.
And just as a small connected aside, we have some cards that are in Kroll Pfeiffer on one of the tables that you can write that we will send to the Springfield Haitian community, cards of support and love. So I encourage you to take some time after the service to fill out a card, and we'll get those sent off this week. Our offering words are by Brandock Lovely. Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us. A community of memory and of hope, for we are keepers of the dream. Thank you for what you were able to give today.
A reading. A glass of tea sweats a circle of droplets on an old table. Drying, they pull dirt and stain from the wood, leaving a ring. Water makes its mark. Deep in the earth, in a cave, a drop falls each minute. Where it lands, a great pillar of white rock has grown up. Water makes its mark. On the surface above, a stream burbles and flows, carving out potholes in the granite of its bed. Water makes its mark. Along a highway cut, a geologist points out the layers of tan slate, each penny-thin sheet the memory of a torrential rainstorm eons ago. Water makes its mark. In its network of veins, the blood, salty like the seawater from which we sprang, flows on in cycles, giving life. Water makes its mark. The dark clouds pass on, yielding no rain. Crops wither, and drought comes. Famine, migration, violence, and death soon follow. Water makes its mark. A space probe turns its camera toward whence it came, imaging one solitary pixel of light, its color the pale blue of oceans. Water makes its mark. A solitary tear slides down the cheek, a tear of abiding joy, a tear of unending grief. We see and share the depth of feeling at its true core. Water makes its mark.
was beautiful. Thank you. Today we gather in community to worship at the corner of our year as a church. This morning we carry love and hope and courageous faith and seek to renew our commitments to one another. We remind ourselves of the home we share, a home that we come back to, whether after a long or short absence, a home that we all welcome, where we are all welcome, a home of love, of hope, and faith. And we gather ritually this morning, carrying gifts of our summer, symbols of water that we have been present with and which has been present with us. These symbols may call to mind light summer showers, thunderstorms, dewy mornings, or misty evenings, or moments at ocean sides, pool sides, river sides, lake sides, swimming, fishing, hiking, or strolling, and who we were with while we were there, or even if we were alone. Perhaps we found ourselves in the presence of water during a moment of grief, or birth, or rebirth, or perhaps in a mundane place whose sacredness is palpable nonetheless. We reflect upon what we brought with us in these moments and places, but more so what spiritual, emotional, or other baggage we carried, and what we did with it while we were in these watery places and times. Did the water's unprovoked resiliency inspire you, or its serenity? Maybe its waxing and waning tides, the music of its motion, or the silence of its sleep. Did you feel the interdependent web of all existence coming alive in these moments? Some of you may have had the gift of a moment of spiritual epiphany. Others of you, a growing awareness of how this very water is like the strands of a web, and how the web is with us and everything. Perhaps the ties to spiritual companions throughout the world become clearer and clearer. Bring to mind the monsoon rains that our UU partners in the Philippines and India know, or the churning ocean that the UUs in Tierra del Fuego know, the rivers and valleys of Transylvania, or Lake Victoria present to UUs in Kenya. What brings these companions like us to the water? What does the water bring them to like us? How glorious, how sacred, and how beautiful. Let us rest and rely on this truth. The water communion began as a ritual created in Michigan in the feminist movement within Unitarian Universalism, but which spread to our whole association. Today, we are engaging in this ritual as we did last year, which is different than how we've done it before. So I ask you to think about your water and what it symbolizes for you. We have general categories: peace, joy, sorrow or pain, and love. What does your water mean to you? What lessons does it offer? During each of those times, I invite you to come forward, if you wish, and share briefly with us what peace, joy, sorrow, or love do you bring today? And you may also remain silent and pour the water into the common bowl. Following each section, we will sing one verse from Peace Like a River. They are not in order, so they will be up here. And if you aren't sure if the categories are a little confusing, just come whenever it feels right. And if you do not have water with you today and would like to participate, this jug right here is very full of water, so it's a little heavy. Just be careful. And we are going to start with the waters of St. John's from Water Communion Services past that have nourished us over countless generations. We have a little parade for you of water, of the rivers that nourish us. Oh, yes. I mean, we need trucks. The river ebbs and flows, you know.
Those who have been here before on Water Communion Sunday know that I really love this ritual, and every year for 32 years, this will be the 33rd year I bring some home, I bring home water. So some of the molecules here are 32 years old from people who are no longer with us. This will be the first water in the bowl.
Thank you, Claire, and thank you to our river. You may flow on. We have in our community times of peace, of contemplation, of solitude. The waters of peace are the tranquil stream, the placid lake, the peaceful river. I call forward the waters of peace. And anyone who feels called can come forward. Pour your water in the bowl, and then speak 1 or 2 sentences.
I brought this water today because this is just from my kitchen tap. But this is the water that my cats drink. And this is the water that my cats drink, and my cats were adopted from Ohio Alley Cat Resource.
My water is from my little fish pond and waterfall, which brings me great peace and joy.
So my water comes from the Ohio River, and I have a very deep concern about it. It's the second most endangered river in America. We have to think about that.
Well, my water comes from our condo swimming pool. And for me, it's a act of courage because I'm deathly afraid of the water. So I have been forcing myself to go into the pool on a regular basis, or at least fairly frequently, which is a big deal for me.
This summer, I visited Lake Audubon, which represents joy because I visited there twice, once to celebrate my older granddaughter's 3rd birthday, and the other time to welcome second granddaughter.
I collected this water from Whitefish Point in Lake Superior in July, and it's amazing the number of things that have happened since then.
Our first verse will be Peace Like a River.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul.
We have in our community times of great joy, The waters of joy and love are the rain puddle, the babbling brook, the joy like a fountain. I call forward the waters of joy.
The joy for that was a family trip that we took to Switzerland and Germany with water gathered, places where, swimming in an alpine lake with my son, or snow that we were looking at from the glaciers. It was a wonderful time, wonderful family time, and what a joy. So that's what that was from.
My water was premature water because I haven't gone on my vacation yet, but it's the first vacation I've had for a while, and I'm going to go to Polly's Island with 15 other women, so it should be very joyful.
Our water was dispensed, filtered from our refrigerator at Twin Towers, where we have enjoyed our first 2 years in residence, sharing joy with that senior living community.
My water is from the clouds, which give me great joy. They're like a wonderful river flowing above us almost every day, sometimes an ocean, and I love to see them.
This is water of joy from our 2 trips to see our families, over to the ocean to see our GMOPs and our GPOPs, and to Kansas to see our Grandma Kathy.
This water is from my trip to Oaxaca, Mexico this past February, which was just a joy to see a different culture and learn some of their language.
Our water is water of joy, of having Barbara Haddon with us for her 96th birthday. Well, congratulations again, Barbara. And it comes from Cedarville, Michigan, Lachino Islands, where we have a beautiful cabin that's brought us much joy, particularly since it gives me time to do my beloved jigsaw puzzles.
This water of joy comes from the solar-powered fountain in our backyard where the birds and critters come to water themselves.
That was invisible water from joy that was forced upon us. Visited my daughter in the Tetons in May, and this is invisible water that carved this incredible Great Red Canyon that we were forced to go see because the ice and the snow blocked the gate and sent us on a much longer trip, and we got to see that water too.
My water comes from Margaret Island, which is in Hungary, it's an island in between Buda and Pest. And it's a joy because I was able to make the trip and see my son and daughter-in-law and granddaughter and many other things.
Our water came from my pond, and it's very low right now. We had a dry summer, and it was a perfect time to whack down my weeds and trees that are getting too high, and I fell in. And instead of cursing and pounding the earth, I laughed. It was wonderful.
So that water is from the rain barrel outside of St. John's. So my joy of conservation and nature.
My water here comes from all 4 oceans in the world. Some of you know that I'm a submarine sailor. I have been to sea on 23 different submarines. I've been around the world twice by submarine, so it was a joy.
Greg and I had the privilege and joy of traveling this past year. We went through the Caribbean and then down the Amazon, and then we trekked on some snow-capped mountains in Bolivia, and it was a joy and a wonderful place to be and such beauty in the world.
So we poured from your water today, but Willow and I go to a special place, a frog bog together. How many frogs do we see? Don't touch. How many frogs do we see?
1 and 2 feet, 4.
That's a lot of frogs.
In response to all that joy, I invite you to join in singing verse 2, Joy Like a Fountain.
I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul.
And we have in our community times of struggle, of pain, of sorrow. The waters of sorrow are the struggle of the rapids, the waterfall, the tears like raindrops. I call forward waters of sorrow.
My brother died last spring, I guess, February. I guess that's called spring, I don't know. And so we went to his memorial service in southern Vermont. And it was, we're staying at a place we could walk across the Connecticut River. His house is on a small lake. And we also went and visited a very close friend of mine who lives in Shelburne Falls on the Shelburne Falls River. So.
My family's lost a couple of friends recently, and so that's water from my kitchen, representing the tears of my family.
Some water for those who don't have access to clean, safe drinking water. Now we will sing verse 5, Tears Like Raindrops.
I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears
And we have in our community times of love. The waters of love are the deep well, the vast ocean. I call forward the waters of love.
I didn't know that was going to be hard. Yeah. I chose love for a category, but it encompasses a little sorrow too. We were able to see our son who lives in Australia, who's now a citizen, by the way, he's a dual citizen, and go swimming and snorkeling at the Great Barrier Reef. That was wonderful. And we loved to spend some good time with him and loved to see the environment. But it was a little bit sorrowful because much of the reef is indeed bleached. Want to say anything? No, I'm fine. Okay.
This is symbolic water from the Atlantic Ocean around the area of Chincoteague, where we stayed with my family. It's an annual family gathering and just brings so much love to me. It was also, in some ways, a slightly sad moment because it was the first time that I was there without my husband, who had been moved to a nursing home. So.
So some of the water I put in before also was from our pond at our house. And it is a wonderfully peaceful place, but also a representation of the love within our family, the things that we do together. And even though Tamara would say I take care of the pond mostly, it is a wonderful place. Yeah, Tamara's like, I take care of it all the time. But it is a lovely thing that represents us continuing to say yes to each other and to love one another.
And our final verse of our water communion this year is Love Like an Ocean, verse 3. Should be up on the screen. The strength of water takes on many, many forms. Just as each of you has a unique and necessary strength that you bring to our community and to the work of love. Take a moment now to drop into the deep wellspring of your own spirit and bathe yourself in the strength that is the groundwater of your person. Are you a roaring, fall-wearing rock, away with the sheer force of will? Are you a tiny drop of water in a crevice, breaking it open slowly, steadily? Are you buoyant, like a great salt lake, practiced at holding others aloft? Are you tenacious like the mountain stream, finding your way down and around every obstacle you face? Are you still and calm like the pond at daybreak, offering radiant peace by your shores? Are you in touch with hidden depths, pulling from a vast well? Do you soothe like the steam rising from a cup of tea? Do you dissolve away stubborn muck like water left in a pot to soak? Do you soften and smooth the edges like a creeping fog? Do you clear away distraction like a cleansing rain? Do you roll with the ebb and flow like ocean waves? Settle your mind upon the strength and the power that is yours. Draw that strength into your heart, into your soul. As we gather together the many waters of this community, we need each of your power, each of your resilience, each of your love to make us whole. Amen.
Time for announcements. Tonight is a potluck, 5 o'clock in Kroll Pfeiffer for everyone. New members, long-standing members, anybody who wants to become acquainted. The next forum, which happens before service once a month, is October 6th. Howard Tolley is giving it on reviewing major decisions by the U.S. Supreme Court last year and what's on their docket for this year. Fall Tai Chi starts again October 3rd, every other week. After our Earth-centered service on September 29th at 2 o'clock, there will be an Earth Listening Circle here at St. John's. More details are in your order of service. And a reminder of what Reverend Jen mentioned, there are cards in Kroll Pfeiffer Hall that we can write supportive notes to the refugees from Haiti who are approved to be in this country, but are undergoing a lot of stress and hate right now. Thank you.
Please rise and bow to your spirits. We sing our closing hymn, 1007, There's a River Flowing in My Soul.
Run to the sea. Today you brought water, poured it into a common bowl. Though our experiences have differed, these waters mingle, signifying our common humanity. Today you came and shared in this sacred community. May you depart this sacred space, hearts filled with hope for new beginnings, a fresh start. Go forth, but return to this community, where rivers of tears may be shed, where dry souls are watered, where your joy bubbles, where your cup overflows, where deep in your spirit you have found in this place a home. All rivers run to the sea. Go in peace, go in love. Amen. just leave it here for now, and I can go back and do it later. I get that a lot. But I think people did really well. I do too.
Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Water.
You got a key to the office, right?
Yeah.
When things gather, if you can let me in there, I'll check my mailbox.
Okay. I was just getting feedback. I think the mic was.
You sounded good though. There wasn't that much ringing.
I'm aware that I'm